It was in the morning, after a night raid. Go. Secure the hallway! Move! I just found it. Like I was meant to.
First off, you've had 7 books that have all gotten turned into movies. I mean, what's your secret?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I think they're not doing it because they think I'm a nice guy or anything. They're doing it really because they've all been successful at the box office. You know, they've all made a lot of money. And not only that, they tend to have a long life afterward, you know, and that they play on cable over and over and over. I mean, you can't turn on cable TV and not see The Notebook or Dear John or Walk to Remember one week. You know, they're always on TV, for instance. And so you have a little bit of that. And so the studios like them because they make money, but then the performers like them if you're young. You know, lots of young people have broken out. It's a great way for established actors to, you know, cement the reputation as who they are, whether you're Paul Newman or Kevin Costner. And so actors want to do it, studios want to make it, and people want to go see them. So that's the magic secret right there.
Well, your newest book has been turned into The Lucky One.
Right.
Or the newest movie. What was your inspiration for that?
You know, I live in a very military area of the country, and so I live in eastern North Carolina. We're surrounded by Fort Bragg and Camp Lejeune, Cherry Point. So the active duty military, they're just part and parcel of life there. And so, of course, if you're going to write a story set there in their 20s, and it's a guy, you know, or a female, you think this person could be in the military. So it's part of that. But once these people, many of whom are my friends, they started coming back from deployment. You saw how profoundly moved they were, how changed they were, and some were more profoundly affected than others. And so this is a story about a guy who lost all his friends. You know, every one of them died. And he'd found this photograph, and it was his lucky charm, so to speak. And here he is, though. But what does he do? You know, he's got survivor's guilt. He's got PTSD, and he says, I can't heal here. I don't know, I just feel like I should thank this person in the photo, and he literally walks across the country, right? Trying his best to find the answers to what it all means.
Because you've had all these references, did you find it harder to write Logan?
What you do is you blend them, because you certainly don't want to make it any one person specifically, because people are, you want to make the most interesting story that you can. And so for Logan, I really drew him on a neighbor of mine, and after his 3rd deployment, he was a naval chaplain, who, this is not Logan, obviously, but so he didn't carry a gun, but he would hold these people as the soldiers after they were injured, right? He would rush to them and hold them, many of whom died in his arms. And after his 3rd deployment, you know, his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Right, so I was thinking about this guy as I'm trying to create this character. I'm like, well, I don't want his hands to shake. That's too, you know, my friend will know where it came from. So let's have him walk, you know. And so you take bits and pieces and you blend, and out pops a Logan Tebow.
You went to college?
Yes, ma'am, just for a year.
What'd you study?
I liked philosophy.
Really?
Yeah, I like to read.
Give us a quote of your favorite philosopher.
Sometimes the questions are complicated, and the answers are simple.
Don't tell me. Voltaire? It's Voltaire, isn't it?
It's Dr. Seuss.
Every once in a while, I know you probably have to step back and you look at your book as a whole.
Yeah.
Do you ever just look at one portion and go, I'm kind of good?
That's a great question. You know, I've reread some of them. There's very little I change in the work that I've done. One of the things that I'm most proud of, and whether or not anyone else agrees, is that when I write a novel, I'm very proud of the fact that I never got lazy in my own mind, right? For me, in other words, that was the best I could do at that period. For that 6 months, I gave it 100%. I never said, I'll just coast here and do anything. I'll just manipulate or use cliches or whatever. I just didn't do that, right? And so it was the best that I could do. So I like to think I've grown as a writer, right? Become better. And I say, yes, I certainly have. But then, of course, every other person says, oh, The Notebook was your best ever, right? Which was my first, which means I've been going downhill ever since. So, what do you do, right?